Hey y'all, today I'm in Stewart County, Tennessee, in Land Between the Lakes, just outside of the little town of Dover, Tennessee. This video is a little different from my usual history stories, but if you've ever wondered about this white cross marker that stands just down Highway 79, right before you turn to go to Piney Campground in LBL, here's the story of Carla and Vickie and this white cross. It was September 17th, 1980. Two sisters, Carla Atkins, age 14, and Vickie Stout, age 16, disappeared after walking from their home to a nearby store that afternoon. They were seen by the store clerk talking to a man in a blue truck. They weren't seen getting in the truck, but they were never seen alive again. For 18 days, the girls were missing. Their family worried and wondered, were they abducted? Were they somewhere out there hurt, hungry, scared? When they didn't come home that evening, their mother reported them missing. The sheriff at the time, David Hicks, thought they were just being teenagers, just out riding around or possibly run away, but they'd turn up eventually. But then nearly 3 weeks later, on October 5th, some hikers were walking in the woods of Land Between the Lakes in an area known as Lost Creek near Mint Spring when they came upon the badly decomposed bodies of the girls. They had both been shot in the back of the head with a shotgun at close range. One of the investigators at the scene noticed blue paint on one of the trees. Could it have come from the same blue truck that the store clerk saw? This crime would seem like an open and shut case. Dover, Tennessee is a very small town with a population in 1980 of probably around 1,500, and everybody knows everybody. But for some reason, 45 years later, this case remains unsolved. This old logging road that I'm walking down leads to the area where the girls were found. So Wednesday, September 17th, 1980. The girls had missed school that day. They were home with their mom and older brothers, Roger and Randy. Randy had to report to the jail that morning along with Vickie's boyfriend, Randall Riggins, and another boy, Bobby Morgan. They were to turn themselves in on marijuana charges and do their time. So the girls said their tearful goodbyes that morning to Randy and Randall, not knowing how long they would have to stay in jail. Around 3 or 3:30 that afternoon, the girls walked from their home up to the nearby Furnace convenience store. They purchased some items and started walking back down Highway 79 towards their home, when witnesses say a man in a blue truck turned around to pull up and talk to the girls. They never returned home. The hikers who found them on October 5th saw some blue jeans sticking out of the ground, mostly covered with leaves. They realized it was a body in a shallow grave and notified authorities. Stewart County Sheriff David Hicks and TBI agent Jack Charlton would lead the investigation. Even though LBL is federal land, for some reason the FBI was not involved. This story turned out to be a much bigger rabbit hole than I thought it would be. It was said that there were over 30 suspects at one time. Can you imagine? 30 suspects. So I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole with you today, but if you would like more details on this case, there is a podcast on it. It's called Murder at Land Between the Lakes, and I'll leave a note in the description for you. With such a sad and brutal crime against these two young girls, and it going unsolved for 45 years, there have been many rumors throughout the years about what could have happened to these two girls. Rumors from stolen evidence to poor handling of the case by investigators, a possible police cover-up. There are as many theories as to what happened as there were suspects, and that's a lot. There's even a story about a possible confession by a man named Tim Webb shortly before he took his own life in 2006 at age 48. In 2013, someone posted the details of the alleged confession on a local blog called the Potneck News. In the story, it was said that Tim said his best friend, Greg Charlton, was the one who committed this awful crime and that he was there the whole time. Greg is the son of TBI agent Jack Charlton, who was working the case back then. I guess that confession wasn't believed, though, because nothing came of it. A civil suit was brought against the writer of the blog by Greg Charlton and Sheriff David Hicks. The blog was removed and the suit settled. But according to the podcast, that same year, the TBI gave Greg a polygraph test, which he failed. But still, there are no arrests in the case. In this news article from the Commercial Appeal in Memphis, dated October 8, 1980, it says, as law enforcement officials discussed possible leads Tuesday in the murder of two teenage girls who disappeared 3 weeks ago and whose bodies were found Sunday, family members dug the girls' graves to defray the cost of the funerals. The Atkins family, which has had to borrow money to pay for caskets and the burial of the girls, has had to change burial plans due to the autopsy taking longer than anticipated. Herman Anglin of the Anglin Funeral Home of Dover said the girls' family members dug the graves Tuesday as friends began a memorial fund to pay the other expenses. The girls were laid to rest Tuesday, October 14th. Graveside services were held at Standing Rock Cemetery, which is about 3 miles from where their bodies were found. Sheriff David Hicks said Tuesday that he had no suspects or leads in the case. The investigation is going awfully slow, he said. And 45 years later, it's still going awfully slow. Carla Sue Atkins, born 1966, died 1980. Vickie Lee Stout, born 1964, died 1980. This is the grave of their brother Roger, 1962 to 2018. He was the one who had to identify the girls' bodies when he was just 17 years old. If you have any information about this case, please call the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND.